Welcome to another Revel University video tutorial. This video will cover Revel's inventory management function and will walk you through how to manage your inventory, how to track vendors, purchase orders, and more. As with all of our tutorials, you can jump ahead to any topic that is most important to you. All tutorials have a table of contents listed below, and you can use the time bar at the bottom of the video to jump ahead to a new section. Before we dive into the Inventory tab in Revel, one thing to note. If you do not see all of the sub-tabs, such as vendors, purchase orders, etc., please reach out to our support team so we can activate this for you. Alright, now let's jump into the basics of inventory in the Management Console. After you've added products to the system, they'll display in the Inventory tab, where you will view and manage their quantities. The Product Inventory tab will show all items entered through the Products page, while the Ingredients Inventory tab will show all items entered through the Ingredients page. Separated only for organizational purposes, the Products and Ingredients Inventory tabs will have the same layout and functionality. The only difference is the actual items that are displayed. So let's check out all the available options here. To update your email address for low stock alerts, click the Set Up Stock Alert email button. Here you can choose to consolidate your alerts into one daily email. Use the search bar to search for a specific inventory item. You can search by the item's name, barcode, SKU, or bin. If you need to export your inventory list, click the ellipses icon and choose to import, export, or print a copy of the list. Filters for inventory include filtering by classes, vendors, and inventory units. You can also choose from the inclusions as well. If you would like to see your active and inactive products, click the inactive box. And if you want to see items that you have untracked from inventory, click the hidden inventory box. If you use invoices and layaway, the View on Hand filter will show all products that are for sale and on layaway. For Sale will display all products excluding items on layaway. And the On Layaway option will show products that are pulled from inventory through an invoice but have not yet been sold. Now let's review the information on the table. The product or ingredient name is displayed in the first column along with the barcode, SKU, and/or bin. You will also see the class associated with the item, the primary vendor, and the unit of measure. The Low Stock Alert column allows you to set a minimum for the item's inventory. Once your inventory falls below that number, you'll receive an alert that it's time to reorder. To update the Low Stock Alert for an individual product, locate the item on the Product or Ingredient Inventory tabs. Then click on the blue number under the Low Stock Alert column. This will become an editable field for you to update. You do not have to click Save, as this number will update automatically. Repeat for any additional products. You can also update the Low Stock Alert quantities in bulk using the Import-Export function, which we'll see a little bit later. The cost per inventory unit will vary based on your settings and how you choose to calculate inventory costing, whether dynamically or manually. The total column will show you the monetary amount you have on hand. The current inventory will display the quantity that you have on hand for the item. The last column houses the icons you can use to update your inventory numbers individually, including wasting inventory, adding quantities, and more. The next tab under Inventory, Prep Recipes, is covered in greater detail in our Ingredients and Recipes video, so be sure to check that out if you need more information on prep recipes. Now let's look at the Vendors tab. Again, if you do not have this option, please contact our support team to get it activated. Adding vendors to Revel allows you to attach products and ingredients to your vendors, which in turn helps you keep better track of items and expedites the purchase order process. Vendors can be added individually or in bulk using the import spreadsheet. To add vendors individually, click Create Vendor. Here, you'll enter the vendor name along with any other relevant fields. These fields serve as record-keeping tools and also auto-populate when you're creating purchase orders. Save when finished and repeat this process for any other vendors you want to add. If you have an extensive list of vendors and prefer to add or edit vendors in a spreadsheet, click the Vendors Info Import Export and choose Export. You'll see the vendor information fields in the columns of the template. Fill out the template with your vendor information and save the file to your computer when finished. Then navigate back to the Vendors tab and click Vendor Info Import Export. This time, click Choose File. Attach your saved spreadsheet. Once your file is attached, click Import. And once the file is uploaded, you'll receive an email confirmation. If there are any issues with the import, those will display in the email. Once you've added your vendors to the system, you can attach specific products or ingredients to them. Again, this helps with record keeping, reports, and when ordering items through purchase orders. Just like creating vendors, you can attach a vendor to an item individually or through a spreadsheet. To associate a vendor to an item individually, under the Inventory tab, select either the Product or Ingredient subtabs, depending on which items you are attaching. Click the Details icon in the Primary Vendors column. In the new window, start typing the vendor name and choose the correct vendor from the options that appear. If your vendor requires that you order the item with a reference ID, enter it in the Vendor Item ID field. If this is not applicable, leave this field empty. Select the unit of measure that you will be using when reordering the item. If you want your purchase order to automatically enter a reorder quantity for the item, fill out the default quantity. Similarly, if you want your purchase order to automatically enter a cost for the item, fill out the default price. The default cost should be entered as the cost per single unit. Click Save when you're done and repeat this process as many times as necessary. If you'd prefer to attach your items to vendors through an import, click the Vendors tab from the Inventory page, and this time click Vendor Items Import Export. Again, click Export for the spreadsheet template. In the downloaded spreadsheet, enter the vendor ID, which you can find next to the vendor name in the Vendors page. The vendor name, the item type, which is either ingredient or product, the item name, which is the ingredient or product name, the barcode or SKU, the stock unit, which is the unit of measure, the vendor item ID, and, if applicable, the default quantity and the default price. Reorder to par, taxed on reorder, primary vendor, and active should all be filled out with either yes or no based on your preferences. Now that you've completed your spreadsheet, save the file. Back in the Management Console, click Vendor Items Import Export. Click Choose File and attach your saved file. Once attached, click Import. Confirm all changes successfully uploaded by checking the Import Results email. The next few tabs, Reorder, Purchase Order, and RMAs, we'll come back to in just a moment. First, let's update our shipping address, since the shipping address will automatically populate into each of the previously mentioned tabs. To set up your shipping address, click the Shipping Address tab on the Inventory page. Here, you'll fill out your company name and your business's physical address. You can also fill out the contact information if there's a specific employee that should be contacted when the order arrives. After you've filled out all relevant fields, click Save. Now that we've seen how to set up the shipping address, this information will populate for you when reordering from your vendors. The easiest way to do this is through the Reorder tab. Let's see how it works. The Reorder tab allows you to easily see items you purchase from each vendor grouped together. You can also see which items are below your set threshold. If your products are attached to vendors, You'll see the different vendor sections with corresponding products listed below. If any products are below threshold, those will be indicated. And if multiple items are low stock from the same vendor, they can easily be compiled into one purchase order. Purchase orders allow you to seamlessly reorder from a vendor while simultaneously updating your inventory quantities. If you generate a purchase order from the Reorder tab, it will include all the selected items. Click Generate PO to quickly open a new purchase order that contains the products flagged for reorder. All of your items that are not attached to vendors will appear under the No Vendor section. Generate PO will take you to a new purchase order where you can then select the associated vendor. The Purchase Order tab allows you to view a history of purchase orders, but you can also manage the status of purchase orders from here, as well as create new purchase orders. To create a purchase order, click the Purchase Order tab from the Inventory page. Then click Create New PO. If you are ordering the items but have not yet received them, choose Create New PO. If you already have the items in your possession and need to update your inventory quantities and your records, choose Create New Purchase Order and Receive. Now choose the vendor that you're ordering from in the vendor name dropdown. Then click Next. The vendor information will automatically populate with the information you filled out in the Vendor tab. The shipping information and contact information sections will automatically populate with your business's info if it was entered in the Shipping Address tab. To add items to your purchase order, select the Click to Add Item box. A list of the attached products or ingredients will appear in the drop-down menu. If you want to create a new product and add it at the same time, click Add New Product. To add a product to the PO, click the item in the drop-down or start typing in the name until it appears. When you select it, you'll see the item appear in the PO. If it has a vendor item ID, default quantity, or default price, these will automatically populate. Otherwise, enter the quantity you are ordering as well as the cost per unit. Repeat this process to add additional items. At the bottom of the purchase order, you can enter your tax, miscellaneous amount, and/or shipping and handling. You'll be able to enter those amounts after you receive the products as well. When all items and info have been added, click Save. On the main PO list, you'll see the purchase order status listed as new and the invoice status as uninvoiced. Under the Actions option, you can receive inventory, edit the purchase order, duplicate, print, email, or delete it. Some of these options may only appear if the purchase order does not have any received items. If you don't see the email option, you'll need to enable the ability to email purchase orders in the Settings tab of the Management Console. When you're ready to receive your products, click the Receive icon in the main purchase order list. If you receive a partial order, edit the quantity box with the amount of the product that came in and click Received. Click No from the Finalize box, since you'll be receiving the rest of the order when it arrives. After you receive a partial order, the status will change from new to partially received. To receive the remainder of the order, click the Receive icon again. If you're receiving the rest of the shipment, you don't have to edit the quantity box. Click Receive Items and then click Yes in the Finalize Receipt window. This means you'll no longer be able to edit the quantity or costs of the items. If you want to edit any extra cost details after you've received the item, click the Details icon to go to the purchase order. Then click Cost Adjustments and enter the invoice number, taxes, miscellaneous amount, and shipping and handling. Once your purchase order status is listed as fully received, click the Details icon and then Finalize to show that it's complete. Click Yes from the window that appears. Next is the RMAs tab. RMA stands for Return Merchandise Authorization. If your vendor sends you wrong or damaged items, you can create an RMA through the Management Console to record items that have been returned. After receiving items in the original purchase order, go to the Inventory page and click on the RMAs tab. From here, click Create New RMA, choose the vendor from the drop-down menu and click Next. Now select Click to Add Item. You'll then search for the item and select it from the drop-down. Enter the quantity that you are returning as well as the cost per unit, then click Save. Once your vendor has approved the return, click Approve in the RMA, and then click Yes on the Approve RMA box. Once you click Approve, the RMA status will update to Approved. To show that your items have been sent back to the vendor, click Send. You'll see the status of the RMA change to Sent. Once you receive your refund, to show that your RMA is complete, click on Close. You'll now see that the status has changed to Close, which indicates that the RMA is finalized. This will also subtract the returned items from your current inventory quantities. Some other inventory options that appear on the Inventory tab include Transferring Inventory, which can be used if you need to transfer inventory from one establishment to another. Physical Inventory, which is being phased out by our new StockTake feature and allows users to divide their stores into sections and conduct a count of inventory in stock. Each of these are covered in greater detail in the articles and tutorials linked below. Revel's robust inventory feature allows you to manage your inventory through both the Management Console and the point of sale. Please note, if you've made any recent changes to your Management Console, first be sure to refresh the point of sale. Additionally, inventory tracking is a specific role permission on the point of sale, so only certain employees will have access. For more information on employee roles and permissions, please visit that tutorial linked below. Once you're logged in to the point of sale, tap the Inventory tab at the bottom. On this page, you can toggle between items, purchase orders, join physical inventory, or join StockTake. If you leave it set to items, you can search for specific product or ingredients by name or barcode. Once you locate the item you're looking for, you can see the current inventory quantity, current cost, and current price. You can receive new inventory, update the actual quantity, and mark an item as wasted. Any actions made in the Inventory page of the point of sale will also reflect in the Management Console. If you use purchase orders, toggle to the POs tab. Here you can search by a product barcode that is listed on the purchase order. You can also search by PO ID number, which can be found in the Management Console on the Purchase Orders tab. Once you locate the purchase order, your screen will display all items on the purchase order. Here you can enter the quantity received. If you use physical inventory or StockTake, these can be accessed on the point of sale as well. Each of these is covered in greater detail in the articles linked below. And that wraps up Revel's inventory tracking function. We hope you were able to follow along and complete the necessary steps. If you have additional questions, please visit the related knowledge base articles linked below. Thanks for watching another Revel University video tutorial.